My name is Ron Torten. I'm the Senior Vice President of Operations and Information Technology at Inphi Corporations. Inphi is a high-speed semiconductor company focused on mixed signal for communication, computing, and data center markets. We have grown rapidly since going public in 2010 and therefore generate significant amount of intellectual property, and we try to protect it wherever we can. I think the key thing that happened with cloud that people sort of underestimate is when the cloud is driving your IP or where you have information that you want to protect, you have not as much visibility as you used to have when you have it in-house. You don't have anything that protects what clients connects to the clouds, and in many cases you can't really see what is going in and out of the cloud. So while information in the cloud may be secured, you don't know where it actually is moving from the cloud. And that area was a very significant concern for us as we started looking at how to enhance our security in the cloud. So ultimately for us, the most critical element was a response to either an internal employee trying to take data that belongs to Inphi, or a cyber attack of someone that was able to take credential of an internal employee. The statistics show that 50% of the breaches that happen in the cloud, or even on-premise, are actually of individuals with credentials. So there's been many companies that have done, I think, pretty good work on being able to secure the data in the cloud, but they have not done anything to really protect the data as it moves out of the cloud and really see where it is moving and how is it moving, and most importantly, block it from being able to move. So we have looked at well over a dozen companies in trying to make a decision of who would be the right fit, and ultimately found Adallom to be the right fit for us. I think what set them apart is really the use case scenario that we were concerned about. We were concerned about someone being able to do a cyber attack into the company, take someone's credentials, and then go into the cloud and download information from the cloud on a personal computer. Adallom is the only company we have found through our search that actually was able to both identify the client to make sure the client is an approved client, and two, is be able to block data from going into clients that you don't want them to move to. So Adallom allowed us to do really a couple of fundamental things. One is it enabled us to first evaluate which client is trying to connect into the cloud. Unfortunately, not all clients are the same. And client, I mean a user. A user could be a laptop, right? And a laptop that looks like a company laptop with credentials may not be a company laptop. Adallom enabled us to be able to actually verify and validate that that client is a client that should be trying to connect to our cloud. No more is the network what you have inside the company. The network is the cloud. Suddenly the computing is not the computers you have in the cloud, but the data centers is actually your compute. So when that happens, you have to think about who can access your data and look like an employee. You want to be able to see what data has moved, what data has moved after it moved off the cloud, and in that regard you have to make sure that you know who it is that it's moving to. And that was for us really the differentiating factor of Adallom versus anyone else. I think there's many layers of security that need to be implemented. So there's no one company that has all the solutions that a company would require. But there's fundamental elements that has to be there. And today, there's no one that really has the element that Adallom has. So you have to have Adallom as a part of the solution so that you can fundamentally be able to not only see what's going in and out of the cloud, but be able to manage who gets in and out of the cloud, and then be able to see where data is going and be able to block it. And there's very few companies or any that I'm aware to today and at the time that we were searching that is able to both identify the client, block the client if it's not an approved client, and give you full visibility for transfer of data. And if you can do all of those three things, you're probably going to have the Adallom solution.